Spartacus's men were better armored than most of the Romans sent to kill them. They were wearing it because they took it off the last army that tried. Mail, shields, helmets, stripped off the field after 2 praetors, and then both consular armies came south and lost. He had cavalry too, Thracians who could break wild horses, built over a winter. It is how he smashed out when 2 Roman armies had him trapped between them. So put the farm tools down. This is not a mob. And late in the summer, in the hill country of central Italy, a foraging party from his column meets Hun outriders in a wheat field, and 6 men do not come back. After that, neither army can pretend not to know where the other one is. The army coming toward him is not what you think either. Everyone pictures Attila as horse archers and nothing else, but at Chalons, his center was Huns, and both wings were Germans, Ostrogothic heavy cavalry on one side, 15,000 Gepid archers, and foot on the other. The bow is the famous part. It is not the army. What these two have in common is the thing that kills one of them. Both armies are coalitions, not nations.
Men from a dozen peoples who joined a winner and stayed because he kept winning.
An army like that does not have to be beaten. It has to be given one afternoon with nothing to show for it. Both men are real. This meeting is not. They miss each other by about 500 years, and neither are the numbers. Neither of them can leave, and it is the same reason twice. Both armies eat what they take. Spartacus has lived off Italy for 2 years, and the country behind him is stripped. Attila is in a land he does not know, in the season that killed his real invasion of it.
Every idle week is dysentery and empty granaries.
Neither can besiege. Neither can starve the other out, because both are starving. Neither can go round, because going round means arriving somewhere the other one has been. But what each has to achieve is different, and that decides it. Attila has to break the army in a day. A long campaign in Italy is the thing that has already beaten him once, without a battle being fought. Spartacus has to keep his coalition together. His men have never lost. That is not a detail about morale. It is the only thing holding a dozen nationalities in one place, and he has watched it fail 3 times already.
For 8 days, Attila will not fight him.
That is the first thing Spartacus learns about this enemy, and it is the thing he has no answer to. He offers battle on a ridge, and the Huns look at it and ride away. He offers it at a river crossing, and they are gone by morning. Infantry cannot catch cavalry. That is not tactics. It is arithmetic. And an army that can decline every fight decides when the fight happens. Meanwhile, the foragers stop coming back. Not in numbers that matter. 2 men here, a cart there, a party of 9 that went east. It costs almost nothing in soldiers and everything in something harder to count, because grain details now go out in hundreds, and the men in them are not in camp, and camp is where a coalition is held together. There is a Gaul in one of the contingents who joined at Nola with about 400 others. He came for the plunder and has said so out loud more than once, and nobody minded because the plunder was there. By the 8th day, Spartacus has not lost a battle. He has not fought one.
An army held together by winning has gone 8 days winning nothing at all.
Which to a man who joined at Nola looks like the same thing. So he goes and takes the ground himself and offers a battle Attila cannot refuse, a valley the Huns must pass to keep moving west, with the only hill in it already occupied. Attila comes. The valley is 2 miles of flat, between a shoulder of broken hill and open farmland, and Spartacus gets the hill. He has done this before. He puts his best men on the slope where a horse cannot get above them, anchors the line on the rocks, and leaves the open side to the contingents. Gauls, Germans, Thracians, men who came to him at different times for different reasons. Attila does not attack the hill. The Huns come along the flat instead, at a canter, in loose order, and the first thing anyone on the Roman armed line hears is not a war cry. It is a sound like rain, starting on a roof. A man in the 3rd rank has a captured scutum and a mail shirt he took off a dead legionary 18 months ago, and both of them work. The arrow that finds him hits the top rim of the shield and skates over it into the shoulder of the man behind. The next one goes into his shin, below the shield edge, through the calf, and stays there. He does not fall down. There is nowhere to fall, and he cannot answer. His pilum throws 25 yards. The rider who shot him turned away at 60 and is already reloading with his knees, doing the steering. That is the whole of the first hour. Not a charge, men standing in armor that is doing its job, taking arrows in the places it does not cover, and the line getting shorter from the outside in, because nobody replaces a man who has not been killed, only ruined. Then the Gepids come up the valley on foot, and everything changes. 15,000 of them, spear and shield, Germans in a line, and this is the fight Spartacus has been waiting 2 years for. Shield meets shield along 400 yards of valley floor, and it becomes a shoving match, and a shoving match is won by whoever is better armored and better trained, and that is not the Gepids. Roman mail against a leather corselet, a scutum that covers a man from chin to knee against a round shield that covers his chest. And behind every one of Spartacus's men is a gladius, 2 feet of it, held low and going in under the ribs of somebody who is being pushed forward by his own rear ranks and cannot bring his arms down. The Gepid line gives 10 yards, then 30. Men on the open side start looking over their shoulders at ground they were standing on a minute ago.
Spartacus is winning this battle. Keep the pressure! Replace the wounded! One more step!
On the hill, on the flat, at the point of contact, his infantry is better, and it is proving it. And there is a moment somewhere past midday when the road out of the valley belongs to him and Attila's center is being pushed off it. That moment is real, and it lasts about 20 minutes.
Because the Gepids are not being beaten. They are being spent.
Attila did this the night before Chalons, left 15,000 of them as a rear guard, and lost most of them to buy one night's positioning, and he is doing it again.
Hold the line! They are breaking through! Stand firm!
Ardaric's men know exactly what they are for, and they do it, and that is not free either.
A coalition will let you spend it once for something it can see.
They can see the Huns going wide. What Attila cannot do is come back next season and ask for the same trade, which is why he needs this finish today as badly as Spartacus does. He simply has one more afternoon of credit than the other man, and this is the afternoon he spends it. And while the whole valley floor is watching the push, Attila is looking at something else. He has spent 8 days riding round this army and has not been counting it. He has been reading where its parts stand. The men on the hill dressed their line before dawn and have not moved since. The men on the flat took all morning to form and left gaps between contingents that nobody closed, because closing a gap between two peoples means somebody deciding which of them moves. He knows what he is looking at because he has the same army. Gepids, Ostrogoths, Rugians, Scyrians. He has spent 20 years managing exactly this.
I can tell from 400 yards which contingent joined a winner and which one joined a man.
So he does not attack the strong point, and he does not attack the weak point. He attacks the least committed people on the field. The Huns leave the valley floor and go wide, round the open side, 400 riders, and then 1,000, past the end of a line that has nothing on its flank, because the flank is contingents, and the contingents have no cavalry. And behind them come the Ostrogoths. Heavy horse, lances down, the one arm on that field nobody has an answer to. The lance takes a Gaulish spearman under the arm as he turns, which is exactly when a man is least able to be hit and least able to stop it, and the horse goes through the space he was standing in and into the two behind him. He had time to see it coming. He did not have time to face it, because turning in a crowd takes longer than a horse takes to cross 40 yards. Now watch what happens next, because it is not what happens in most battles. The men beside him do not break. Breaking is a thing frightened men do together, and there is no panic here. They look at the gap where 3 men were, and then at the hill where Spartacus is still winning, and they do the arithmetic that every man in a volunteer army does eventually. They came for plunder in a country that has already been stripped. They came for a leader who had never lost, and this afternoon he is not obviously winning. Nobody is standing behind them, because the reserve is a contingent too. So a man on the end of the line steps back 1 pace, and nothing happens to him. He steps back another, and still nothing happens, and that is the entire mechanism of this battle. No weapon reaches him, nothing is done to him at all. He turns and walks out of the fight, and 11 other men who have been watching him do the same, and then a section, and then the end of the line is not there anymore. Spartacus finds out the way commanders always find out. He sends for the reserve to close the open side, and the reserve does not come, and the man he sent comes back and cannot tell him why, because there is no why to give. There is only a stretch of trampled wheat with nobody standing on it.
Sir, they are flanking us from the south! Send in the reserve!
He does the only thing left, and it is the right thing. He takes men off the hill. 2,000 of the ones who came for him, the ones who dressed their line before dawn, come down off the slope at a run to plug a hole 400 yards wide. And it works, for a while, because they are the best armored infantry on the field, and they arrive angry. The Ostrogoths cannot get through them. The line stops thinning, and the hill is now held by fewer men than it needs. That is the price of the right decision, and there is no version of this where he does not have to pay it. He came to this valley for that slope. He has just spent it to buy an hour on ground he never wanted. The Gepids stop giving ground. There is no route, and that is the strange part. What happens on the flat is subtraction. A section here, a contingent there, walking east into the wheat, while the fighting is still going on behind them. The men who stay are killed. That is the part the walking men do not see and would not have changed their minds about. The 2,000 who came off the hill are still standing in the gap at dusk with Ostrogothic horse on 3 sides of them, and being the best infantry on the field is worth a great deal against a lance, and nothing at all against being surrounded by one.
That is the price of the right decision.
They go down in a shrinking circle in the wheat, and the last of it takes about as long as it takes to walk a mile. By dusk, Attila holds the valley and the road through it. Spartacus holds a hill with perhaps a third of the men he brought, and the thinnest part of what is left is the part that was best. He is not beaten in any way a soldier would recognize. He has simply stopped having an army. Spartacus took the ground, won the push, and held the road for 20 minutes. The Gepids broke on him, and the Huns could not touch a shield wall on a slope. Under these conditions, Attila wins. And not with the bow. Horse archery does not break armored infantry. It makes it stand still, and standing still is the one thing Spartacus's army cannot do. But the thing that actually decides it is a reed, and it is a reed only Attila could have made. He runs the same kind of army. 20 years of holding Gepids and Ostrogoths and Rugians together taught him to see from 400 yards which contingent joined a winner and which joined a man, so he ignored the strong point, ignored the weak point, and went at the least committed people on the field. That is not the bow, and it is not the horse. It is a coalition commander recognizing another coalition. Both armies look equally fragile. Only one has been tested. Spartacus is fractured 3 times in 2 years. Crixus took 30,000 men south. Castus and Gannicus left weeks before the end. Attila's held 20 years and dissolved only when he died. It cost him most of a Gepid wing. It cost Spartacus the only army in Italy that ever frightened Rome. Give Spartacus 1 more year of victories before this, and the coalition survives a bad afternoon. The variable is not the ground and not the bow. It is how much credit a man has with his own army on the day it stops being obvious that he is winning. The figures are modeled, rather than recorded, and the heaviest assumption is that either army would have stood a full day. The Gaul who joined at Nola walks east out of a battle nobody has beaten him in, and by the time he reaches the tree line, there are 400 men doing the same thing, and not one of them had to be persuaded.